Welcome back. I'm Tom Collinger, and I'm with my friend Jonathan Copulsky in our second segment of our series about the Technology Fallacy, the book that he and his colleagues wrote. So one of the topics that you said we'd get into was based on this observation of something called absorptive capacity. Would you talk a little bit more about that and really what it is that companies are doing about it?
So there's a wonderful quote. It comes from an NPR writer. It was first aired on Fresh Air, one of my favorite shows on NPR. But he said, "The future is here, but it's unevenly distributed." And what this really meant was a lot of things are happening, but not everybody is getting the same advantages that come with that future. So we think one of the ways to explain this is this notion of absorptive capacity. And absorptive capacity comes from two organizational psychologists, goes back now 30 years, and it's about the ability of an organization to identify, to assimilate, to transform, and ultimately use external knowledge, research, and practice. So can I understand what's going on, take it inside, and then leverage that?
So a company that identifies the fact that there is this gap, what is it that they can actually do to increase their absorptive capacity?
So basically there are 5 things. And if we think about this notion of uneven distribution of the future, one is that they can figure out ways to tap into the collective knowledge and the experience of the organization. So you're taking everything that the organization, everybody within that organization knows, and then figuring out how to make that accessible to everybody. So one of the ways that happens is through collaboration tools like Slack, which enables different people in the organization to communicate with one another about what's going on. Because often, even within an organization, the future may be unevenly distributed. How can they take advantage of the whole organizational knowledge?
Mm-hmm. So I know you use a lot of cases in addition where you point to companies that are actually good examples of enterprises that are doing, or in some cases not doing quite enough. Could you point to one that is a good example of one that's taking action here?
Yeah. So an example of an organization which has really done a very good job of both helping their employees understand their offering as well as then kind of leveraging it is Adobe. And many of us know Adobe because we've got PDFs and we've got all the different tools that Adobe offers, and they've moved into other businesses too, including marketing cloud software. But Adobe, which is now a major presence in the software business, has something called the Experience-a-thon. And for a period of time, they host one of these Experience-a-thons where they take employees and they really make the employees immerse themselves in the tools that Adobe offers. And the intention of doing that is twofold. One is to get the employees excited about what the tools are and get them familiar, but the other is to create that sharing atmosphere where the employees say, "Oh, did we know that the tools could do X or Y or Z?" and then share that with one another.
It's a very interesting insight that the capacity grows from what you've said, not just by knowing it, but also by sharing the growing knowledge.
Absolutely, and the sharing can take place within the organization, right, among employees, but now if we think about this, it's also among all the various ecosystem partners that may exist for an organization. So the distributors, the channels, the people that they go to market with. How do we tap into that collective knowledge and increase the knowledge that exists by bringing in more diverse populations of employees and so forth? So, we worry a lot about diversity and inclusion. Often we focus on the ethnicity, or we focus on age or gender and so forth. But now we've got to think about diversity and inclusion in terms of experience with digital technologies.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, thanks. This is great. Where are we going to go next?
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about how do we make an organization better at improving its absorptive capacity. Next time we're going to talk a little bit about how do we understand all the capabilities that new technologies may bring to an organization.
Terrific. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, Tom.